You're watching the What's Neat This Week podcast, show number 109 for March 14th, 2020. I'm not going to say another word, so just kick back, relax, and enjoy the show.
All right. The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. Additional support is provided by TCS, Train Control Systems. Check out their high-quality DCC sound decoders, throttles, accessories, and more at tcsdcc.com. And by the Gateway St. Louis 2020 NMRA. Meet me in St. Louis, July 12th through the 18th, 2020. For more information on this, check out their website at www.gateway2020.org. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
Look good, smile, and we'll all have fun. 3, 2, 1.
This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 109 for March 14th, 2020. Best hobby in the world with the best people in it with me tonight. And tonight we have Michael Budde back. Mike Budde from Florida. He enjoyed a lot of sunshine. Mike, it's good to have you. I missed you.
Thanks.
We also have Daniel Coombs this evening. We all love Daniel. And we are going to have a good conversation tonight, Daniel.
Oh, we are.
Oh, yeah.
James Regier. Thank you
everybody.
for being here. And I have John Schindler. You'll remember John Schindler, a
Hello.
local NMRA
Coordinator.
friend of the NMRA. I mean,
Yes.
you are really involved in the hobby, John, and you have been for so many years. But we are going to start out tonight with a conversation that's going to revolve around you, John, because I had the opportunity to attend an operating session at your beautiful layout that is featured in Model Railroader magazine. It's also featured on the What's Neat show at Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine recently.
Yes.
It's quite an amazing layout. And I have really grown to appreciate the planning and the design that went into your layout after watching James Regier, Brad Joseph. James, you were there. Daniel, you were there.
was there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And they were operating. An operating session is so different from the way I model, where I model my layout based on a run-by effect. I like the
Right.
rail fan track side on my layout,
Right.
and I've said this so many times before, and I have been doing it my entire life. And I didn't have a clue about operation other than recently some videos that we've made. Joe Pellegrino, was that right?
Yes.
Yep,
Joe
Joe
Pellegrino.
Pellegrino.
And John Peluso's layout, which we
Right.
also feature coming up in the April What's Neat. And I have learned so much about the car card system and the organization of things. And I imagine there's a lot of work in just setting up a layout for operation and staging. So where do we start with a conversation on operation, John? Where would you, what inspired you? Tell me about your passion.
I got tired of watching them run from place and just run in circles. And it
Racetrack.
started when in high school, I had a small layout my dad had. I got tired of it, so I built a staging yard and effectively started operating when I was a teenager.
Right.
So, and then as time went on, I got more involved with people in St. Louis who were operators. Went on, and when I moved into this house, the house was bought because of the way the basement was for operations. You know,
Right.
it was the first start.
That's a nice big basement, too.
It is.
And,
Yeah.
and when I
Very
moved,
spacious.
when I was moved in, it was nothing but concrete.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
had
A
a
blank
full
canvas.
blank slate.
Oh,
you
that's
know,
ideal.
And spent nearly 8 months planning how to lay out the railroad, because my first plan, I was going to model North Dakota, but
Okay.
but for operations it doesn't work well, because all it is
There's
a
a
bunch
lot
of kin trains, just one going by after another.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all
right.
it,
Yeah.
that's all it is. There's-
Racetrack.
You know, so that's why I moved to St. Louis, split the basement between Missouri and Illinois,
Sure.
and came up with the track plan that I have now.
Right.
Well,
So-
yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like, I was just thinking about this. There is definitely that run-by effect to operations. But in addition to the run-by, you're also thinking about, where do these cars go home at night to make their railroads money?
Right.
Like, what industries are you wanting to serve? What do you? What's the purpose of your train?
That's what Tony Pellegrino
it adds that dimension. Yes.
It's very interesting in that Tony Pellegrino, in an upcoming interview about operations on the What's Neat show, said that in fact, when he used to work with his wooden Brio trains when he was a child, that he got so interested in operation that he would write it down on paper where this wooden freight car would go and why it was going there.
Right.
He said there was a purpose and a reason for the train movements. Now, the beauty of modeling the way I do for a run-by effect is I focus on the locomotives and I focus on the freight cars and how they look and the weathering and the aesthetics and the scenery of the various locations, where we literally get out with a rolling wheel and we measure, or we take satellite information off of Google Earth and we make exact locations look realistic. That was the purpose of doing a run-by.
Right.
So you could rail fan from a location. But what I saw Tuesday was, it seems like the super detailing, the right color of the faded freight cars that Mike likes to do when he weathers, a lot of those take a back seat to the detailed paperwork. These car cards, the radios where you call in train orders to get permission to be on a main line, or to even, as you did the other night, cross over a main line to get into a switch yard.
Right.
That to me was fascinating, and that's what I used to hear on our railroad scanners when we listened to trains run on the DeSoto sub behind my house here, where Amtrak calls in for permission to, pass a certain point and go down towards Texas. They're literally talking to somebody on the radio in Omaha, Nebraska, while they're right here in my backyard, and the folks in Omaha are directing where this train is allowed to go, so they don't have their cornfield meets.
Yes.
Right.
Now tell me, John, when you set up for an operating session, do you have to pre-stage all of your freight cars?
Well, on the car, but basically, yes.
Yes.
For the trains that go into staging, I have to take the car waybill part of it, turn it over, and then it's like it went to Chicago. Now it's coming back from somewhere east of us. So I got to turn it over, and it will have that car now has a new destination somewhere on the railroad. Either it's going to go to a different staging yard or to an industry. So yes, I got to go through and do all that, and it's about 6 hours worth of work.
So you have 6 hours of preparation.
Yes.
And I saw you all had these. Here's a business card here from Derek Sampson, the gentleman that makes these box cars for us.
Trains.
But you had these small cards, and they were all. I got video of you with a handful of these in your hands while you're sitting there with your stick uncoupling the cars, which I found fascinating. I just did it. I can't believe it. But it was, to me, this is completely foreign, but at the same time, it's totally fascinating, because essentially what you do is you're turning your layout into a big board game.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's
No,
exactly what
it's
we
like
did.
model railroading meets Dungeons and Dragons in a lot of ways,
Yes.
because everyone plays their role. Because you have the big old manifest coming in from Chicago, going into the classification yard, where the yard master then shuffles those cars into what industries they're going to take, or whether they're going to head to points west on the railroad, or even points south on the railroad. Figure out where all they have to go, shuffle them into trains, assign those trains to outgoing operators, and then those operators are in turn responsible to either take it to the opposite end of the staging yard and off the line, or take it to the local industries and deliver those cars where they need to go.
Right.
Yes.
Right. It's a challenge sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the fact that you've got to specifically mark down those individual cars and you got to think a strategy ahead. How am I going to switch these cars in this certain industry? Because let's say you got a single main line, which is siding of 3-car limit. You got to think to yourself, well, how many can I switch in before next train is due through that area?
And how
Well,
big?
and I can't tell you how often it's happened to me when I've been operating at Joe and Tony's, when I've had a cut of 16 cars, and I swear that siding will have enough space to accommodate my locomotives and those 16 cars, and then I'm about a half car shy.
Right.
Right.
I have to recalculate the whole thing, start over.
Yes, and you can't, if you play the game right, you don't just move things, you
Right.
go back in, make another cut, and shove them in somewhere else.
Right.
So you got to be thinking ahead. You just
Right.
can't,
You risk a lot of ridicule if you use the 5-fingered crane.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So during any one given operating session, all of the movements and all of those things that take place, you have already pre-planned this, haven't you? You've already done this in your head and on paper.
Well, basically, they're changing the car cards, just give them a destination.
Where do you get car cards?
They're
Micromark?
Micromark, yeah. Sells a whole kit of them. It's the you can buy the packet that the car card, which gives you what car it is and the number and what railroad. On the back of mine is also what color it is, who manufactured it, whether I got Katie couplers, wheel sets, the resistive wheel sets,
Right.
things
It's also
like that.
also a good way to check on the order of the car as well individually, because you can go through them afterwards and say, oh well, this car got a bad order during this operation session. I need to do something with coupler height or the coupler attachment,
Right, yeah.
that kind of thing.
So, in which case, and they go into the yard. I have my RIP track, the repair in place track, is for show and for any repairs that come in. That's where they go. So I put them there so I remember what needs to be done.
Something else interesting you showed me, John, the other night Tuesday night was you put resistors on your wheels.
Yes.
Now, is that so the freight cars are able to be detected on the layout?
My whole railroad is CTC signaled.
Okay.
And the basis of CTC signaling is occupancy. So the system can't throw switches or let another train in there if it's detecting, that there's already something there. To do that, I have a resistor on one axle of every car on the railroad, most of them anyway. So,
And that's one way of doing it, that you sort of still continue to use the old block system that you would have used under DC, but you have the different regions, the different zones where your DCC system can detect them broken into blocks, whether that block is occupied. And the way Daniel does it with his Athearn system is actually through an infrared signal that fires up to the cars through the track. So he does it without the resistors.
Yeah, without the resistors. I got one section now. I still got another board. I was thinking about maybe putting a demo out here on one of a show, just making a siding track on a piece of foam and gluing the signals in place, putting the board in it, and just showing you guys what it is exactly what I'm working with. So
I've never felt like such a stranger at our own podcast table, because this is all new to me, but I want you to know I'm extremely excited about learning more about this and sharing this with our viewers, because this is a whole nother fascinating aspect of the hobby that is quite, it's very astute. I don't know any other word to use other than it's very thought out, it's very planned, and it's so different than the normal weathering and the normal aesthetics that I am so focused on all the time.
But my layout is designed for operations. Scenery and weathering is taking the second place to does it operate well.
Right.
I've been to some fabulous layouts, especially 2 weeks ago I was in Kansas City at a gentleman by the name of Mike Borcon. Huge Union Pacific layout. 25 Challengers and big boys. Ran like a chart. And this thing is just perfection all the way through.
I want to go to there.
Yes, it's
the scenery was beautiful.
I got open invitations from a lot of guys in Kansas City to go up and operate on their layouts. They said, just bring some guys.
Right.
Give us a call. We'll set something up.
Okay.
So,
boy, this is the kind of conversation to have at a hobby shop. Mike, have you ever operated before on a layout?
I operated on Eric Bruman's layout.
Okay. So he operates as well.
Utah
no,
Belt. Oh yeah.
Eric is about he doesn't do it very often.
Okay.
I was fortunate to do that. Now I felt kind of pressured because he runs a fast clock too, so that adds another element of it,
Clock.
But,
so that means Amtrak's got to be on time, doesn't it?
yeah.
Because I noticed that when I did Joe Pellegrino's layout, they let me run Amtrak.
Uh-huh.
That was the extent of my operation, but I couldn't move that
There was
train
no switching.
without permission.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was on a radio, and you were walking me through the commands to talk to this dispatcher. And I've got videotape of this wonderful man, 34 seconds of video here, of the dispatcher, and you've got two great big screens on your layout with the whole layout laid out on the computer screen, and he was able to visually see where each train was and talk them through their movements.
Well, he doesn't even have to talk them through. It's all signaled. So when he looks at that board, if it's red, there's a train in there. If it's green, he's allocated that route. So nothing. So the signals in the opposite direction will be red. and and going in their direction will be green or yellow depending on how far away the next signal is, how many blocks ahead another train is.
Right.
And my dispatchers, David Lowell, does a great job of it.
Yes, he's a master dispatcher.
He is really stepped up and got that done for me, because if he didn't do it, I would have to be sitting back there, which I still like doing. Yeah, I would love to dispatch my railroad more often. So
I was impressed at the professionalism of each one of these individuals. It was just fascinating. We're going to look forward to having more discussions on this topic. I know that in the future. I'd like to make some What's Neat videos on it as I learn further about it, so we can share this information with you, because this could even add all new aspects to any size layout, whether it's a very small layout, say 4 foot by 9 foot, or N scale or any scale, and even narrow gauge, I imagine, operation came into play.
Absolutely.
With paperwork and train orders
yeah.
and things like that. Whole new another aspect of the hobby that I look forward to sharing with the viewers of the What's Neat show.
Well, and the interesting thing is, and I don't know if this is because I've been getting more into it in recent years, but it seems like, a lot of the different magazines are picking up on the whole operations aspect. You see it in Model Railroader with the article on John Schindler's layout, of course, but you also see in Model Railroad Hobbyist, they have several articles on operations, as well as Model Railroad Craftsman, where they've been talking about passenger train operations and how you deal with
Best hobby in the
express
world.
cars
Yes.
and all that. So yeah,
I mean, it's nothing really that new. I remember seeing those when I was a kid in Model Railroader.
sure.
But I never paid attention to it.
I didn't really either.
Yeah,
It
well,
didn't
your
interest me
attention.
that much. But
that's
it
why
does
the
now.
qualifier. Like if I'm just paying more attention because I'm into it more now.
Yeah, right.
Now we have the NMRA show coming up in
No,
July,
let's back
12th
this up,
through
Ken.
the 18th.
Ken, I got to tell you again, it's the NMRA Convention.
That is right.
NMRA
There's-
I've got to put a dollar in the
Convention.
dollar jar.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
NMRA Convention.
Convention.
It is the NMRA Convention,
Convention,
folks,
yes.
coming up July 18th,
12th
the
through-
12th through the 18th, here in St. Louis this July, and I'm looking forward to that. And I know there are some clinics on operation at that
Yes,
as well.
lots of
that
clinics
you
on
can attend.
operations, yes.
And do you have any further news about that show tonight?
Tonight, we want to express that the Gateway 2020 convention is absolutely going on. We feel any current issues that are going on are going to be way in the rear view mirror, and we are making full steam ahead for the convention.
Perfect.
So.
Look forward to
Ajay.
it. It's going to be a
And-
great week and good weather.
And the
And then
greatest
one-
hobby.
And then one other thing is, I know we're a little bit backed up on getting all the tours and everything announced. Hopefully, within the next week to 2 weeks, that will be resolved, and the hotel will definitely be open for reservations starting at least by April 1st.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
We'd like to welcome TCS, that's Train Control Systems, to the show. They've been watching the show for over a year now, and they have thrown in and become a sponsor to help us provide this show for
How
you.
about that?
Very
Yeah,
good.
that's wonderful.
And James, they really appreciated
TCS.
the presentation that you made a week ago with that brand new throttle system that they're coming out with. And
Yeah.
you had that at John's house, and you were running your trains with it. I saw that the other night. And that's because it replaces your cell phone, in that you don't have to worry about missing phone calls. You can still take pictures with your cell phone, but you use this through the Wi-Fi system on any
Yep.
one given layout. This works with NCE, this works with Digitrax,
Digitrax.
and the other DC systems that are already out there that you may already have on
ESU,
your layout.
MRC.
Where this is an additional throttle that you can add to your layout.
If you have JMRI hooked up to your layout and you have a Wi-Fi, if you have Wi-Fi connected, and if you can connect your cell phone through your Y throttle, chances are you're going to be able to connect this throttle. And this throttle will actually do a lot for you. And one of the things that I've really been experimenting with in the past couple weeks is consisting. I was here at Ken's, I think 2 weeks ago, and I decided I wanted to, take 2 locomotives, I think it was my Dash 8s, and back them into 4 other locomotives, pick them up, and run them forward. This thing makes it very simple. You just simply press the menu button, like consisting, select the locomotives that you want to add to your consist and what direction you want to face in consist, and this will take care of the rest for you.
That's
It'll
amazing.
decide what your lead locomotive is going to be. That is, which locomotive will have the headlight, which will have the beacon and the horns. So that, unlike with your cell phone, where if you press a button, every single horn on your train goes off and every single headlight goes on, this will actually intelligently send the signal directly from the throttle.
It's lightweight too.
Yeah. It's good.
And tonight I was demonstrating to Ken how I made the employee appreciation special from 1993 or so with 3751. Granted, these are Dash 840 BWs instead of the CWs that were on the actual train.
Too.
And there's a couple other variants based on the consists that I have instead of the consists I dream about. But you are very easily able to back 3751 onto the train, pick up the 2 diesel locomotives, and take off in the opposite direction. Or take 3751 off the train and then take off with just the 2 diesel locomotives pretty flawlessly and pretty seamlessly. So it's pretty amazing just the intelligence and the functioning that's built into this throttle. It gives you all of the benefits that you'd have with intelligent consisting. That is, you can set it to the number of your choice, but without the hassle that if you forget to take your locomotives out of consist when you leave the operating session, no problem. It never actually changes their address whatsoever.
Can you see that screen, Campbell? It's got a very big screen on it. It's very clear. All the numbers, everything. So consisting is very simple. It's evidently very well thought out, very laid out. And we showed last week that it also had a flashlight on it. So thank you for this and sharing it. I think you bought this. You pre-ordered this last summer when they announced it. I understand that they're also sending another system here similar or the same thing, so that I can read the instructions and tell you how simple it is from the ground up from the standpoint of an absolute novice, which is what I am.
Isn't that their command station that they're coming out with soon?
They are coming out with a command station sometime soon, but the exact details of that remain to be worked out. It's still under development.
Okay.
But the neat thing, and I think the thing that you will enjoy with this, is that it's a robust Wi-Fi connection. So that when you go outside to do your photo shoots,
they were saying that to me.
You should be able to connect right through the wall to your train, and if you want, and I know you usually use the base 3 for your locomotive consisting, but you should be able to. But you should be able to, if I should be photographing out there and want to shift which locomotive is in the lead, I can do so very quickly, very conveniently through this system. So it's.
But the fact is, it still works with my NCE system, which is what I really love. So anytime I have additional folks come over, I can just let them use that throttle. They can learn to use both throttles. They all work with each other. Yep. It's just perfect addition to my NCE or Digitrack system, and I really appreciate that. And because you guys know how much I love the NCE system. I talk about it all the time because I use it all the time.
Right.
Now, from Athearn tonight, we're talking about some brand new 33,900-gallon LPG tank cars. These tank cars come in both N scale and HO scale. These come in single packs and 3 packs, and there are 3 or 6 different road numbers available on these cars. These are brand new on the Athearn website for pre-order. And I've got some of these. We've been running some of these on the layout for some time, and the detail is absolutely finite. This is what I run for my run-bys when I like to make a train look really good. And you were commenting, James, about
down
the
to
couplers.
The couplers. They have those.
Tell me about the knuckle couplers.
Well, they have these shelf couplers like you'd see on the actual tank cars on trains. Now, these are actually functional shelf couplers that I've actually used them on the Magic House for trains that seem to be prone to come uncoupled. That these will actually provide an extra layer of protection for those knuckle couplers to keep them in line. So they not only look like the...
I love these. I love that we can reach in and grab these cars now
without
microphones in front of us.
Exactly. Yeah. But
they're better than brass.
The
detail on these is just amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, I will say, though, that the shelf couplers are hard on operations. They are hard to uncouple. They are hard to uncouple.
It's like you can't get to it.
That is, of course, the flip side of the realistic operation of a shelf coupler, that they're difficult to uncouple, yes.
Also on the table tonight, I think you put an SD39. Is that Santa Fe right here?
Yes.
These are ready to roll from Athearn. These are nice locomotives. They do come with sound in them. I showed off the N and W locomotive, I think, on a previous show, and I'm running B-roll of that right now where I shot this beautiful model outside. This is the one that's primed for grime. It's already got faded and weathered paint on it, so all you have to do is just put a wash of weathering on it and underspray of dirt and grime with your airbrush, and these models are absolutely pre-painted and pre-faded for you. The Santa Fe is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, you look at these ready to run, and I noticed some of these at a. I think I first saw them at K10s, and I asked this guy if Athearn had come out with these new Genesis models.
They are,
but these are
Yep.
ready to run.
They are
I mean,
ready to roll.
stepped
These
up in
have
their detail game.
these have like the see-through grills, the fan blades, and all of these things in there that
Better than brass.
that
Sugar Cube
It's such a
speakers,
great
sound.
time to be in the hobby.
It is.
With the advancement of computer technology and design, they have created some of the most beautiful models for us to be able to run and enjoy.
Oh, yes.
Whether you're modeling like
Yep.
I do for the run-by effect or you're modeling to operate.
right.
So how about that? Mike, I'm so happy to have you back tonight. What do you
Thanks.
think about the
Yeah.
new microphones? You like this setup?
So far, so good. Yeah.
Tell
I
me,
can
what
reach
have
right
you
in there,
brought
too.
tonight? What have you got on the table, Mike?
Well, Bob Johnson of Masterbuilt Models sent me a bunch of River Point Station stuff. He's a distributor for River Point Station, and he sent me a bunch of N-scale trucks here, and also some HO scale detail packs. I'll show you those next week. But these N-scale trucks, the white and yellow ones, they represent the 1992 through 1996 Ford, I think, and the double cabs, the dual cabs are F-250, and then the utility trucks are F-350. But the detail on these N-scale models is amazing. I mean, even in a photograph, when I took pictures of them, they looked like they were HO scale.
Wow.
But the chrome trim, the grill is all detailed with the printing on it, and the windshields they're flush fitting. They're not sunk way in on a lot of N-scale cars, and the rotating wheels. They roll real good, so you can roll them across your railroad crossings. Who doesn't like doing that?
I love running my
so-
River Point Station
grandson.
trucks.
Yeah,
My grandson
But
does
they also come in a kit form too, the N-scale ones, which I was surprised to
Really?
see.
So you can assemble them.
Right, or you can make your own, kit bash your own bodies and
That's
stuff.
cool.
I hear a Southwestern belt truck might be coming up in that, don't you
we'll
think?
see. Well, maybe.
Now you
so.
made me grab my River Point Station truck.
Yeah.
They actually make a model of my Ford Expedition. Is it?
Expedition.
Expedition, is that what I got? And it comes with the right pearl paint on it.
Nice.
My truck
Yep.
has got that pearl paint on it,
Yeah.
and so does this model.
What I like
This
about
is what I'd love to radio remote control.
What
Just
I
make
like
one of
about
these.
that, and I'm thinking about it, since you can roll these things, they are fairly robust construction.
Yeah.
And so if my 2-year-old should grab a hold of this River Point model, it's a little bit forgiving.
Yeah.
Not real forgiving, but a
You're gonna
little
lose
bit.
the mirrors,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, towards the center of the table there, Campbell's focusing in on those 4 HO scale cars. The ones on the right side, the blue and red one, those are new from Oxford Models. I think it's a 62 or 63 Chevy Corvair, which I really like. I like the Chevys. And then on the left side there, a little closer to my ear, is a 1974 Buick station wagon, and they've got the hood and the grill molded in one piece, so it can be switched, and they're gonna do 1975 and 1976 models as well on these station wagons.
Nice.
Those are
So-
beautiful station wagons, Mike.
Yeah.
The paintwork is extraordinary,
Right.
and that wooden sides, the wooden
Yeah.
panels. Boy, that's
I'm gonna take my Molotow chrome marker and do the bumpers on those to make them look more realistic than that silver paint, but that's a real easy fix you can do.
Right.
so just like that. Look forward to the NMRA Convention website. That should be coming out very
Very good.
shortly now.
Yes.
And I can't wait to go through that and see all of the different clinics, all of the different layout tours that are available, and the prototype tours coming up. This is going to be a great summer, and we're all going to hang out and get together and meet. So rock and roll, guys.
Oh, one more thing.
One more.
The convention is also, we're having the O-Scale Kings is a national O-Scale convention. They are also going to be part of our convention Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of that week. So
Oh, nice.
we welcome them.
All right.
Good.
So
We all love
All right.
O-Scale.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anything else going around the table, guys? Is that it for this show tonight? I think we've just about covered everything. And we're
Yeah,
coming
so-
up on 28
I mean,
minutes.
considering I'm working full time, it's like I don't have any time for.
I'm
the
so
models,
glad you're here.
but
It's great.
Hey,
I get
You're
the
here.
time that I
That's
get.
all that
Yeah,
counts.
that's all that counts.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Be sure to check out our Facebook page. That is the What's Neat This Week Facebook page, where you guys can contribute photographs of your layout and any ideas or thoughts that you might have for the show. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube when you're watching this so that you get notifications in the event that we come out with
And
a
click
video
that bell
midweek,
so you
which
get the
we did
notification.
for the LGB, those beautiful steam locomotives that
Oh
we
my
had.
gosh.
So,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of good
Beautiful.
stuff coming up in the hobby. Best hobby in the world. Best people in it. This show is made by us, Simple Model Railroaders, for you, for your enjoyment. And so with that, let's go run some trains, guys.
All right.
All right.
I'm sure we got it.
Oh, you got it, man.
I'm not eating this. I want a salad.
You want a salad?
I think I'm with you. I think I want to sell it.
I mean, it probably means we're on Frankie, right?
Of course we are.
I don't want to disappoint them. She loves us now. These are 8 number 1 Saturday.
We could probably have our pick of potatoes. Yes.
Yeah,
Let
pretty
those
much.
cameras keep rolling for a few seconds. And I'll just,
I've already just turned this one off.
that's fine. The other two go on rolling. And I like that because then I don't have to do a run by at the end of the show. Good job, guys. Good job. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Works.
Good job, Campbell. Thank you for doing that tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want me to take